Snooker, Loopy, nuts are we, me and him and them and me. We'll show you what we can do with a load of balls and a snooker cue. Pot the red, then screw back for the yellow, green, brown, blue, pink and black. Snooker, Loopy, nuts are we, we're all snooker, Loopy, bum 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 bum.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Snooker Loopy podcast. I am comedian Tom Mayhew and I'm here with my very, very good friend. He's anything but faithless. It's Joe Hannard!
Good evening, Hazel. Good evening, everybody at home. There you go. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. As we're recording this, it's Crucible Eve for me because I'm off to the Crucible in the morning, so I'm very excited for that. Going on the train as well, which, you know, isn't something I do too often. So,
are you going to struggle to sleep at night?
Oh, well, I mean, the thought of having to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday when I'm normally up at 6 o'clock, I'm sure that will keep me in bed.
I like the idea of your girlfriend going like, "Oh, come on, Joe, you need to go to sleep or Rob Walker won't come."
Yeah. Because we did say Rob Walker was going to come down the chimney, but yes, I mean, take it however you will at home with what Tom's just said, by the way, because it's, yeah, let your imagination run wild.
Don't have nightmares.
But no, it's been a good week actually of snooker action. I can't believe we're so far through. I think the first round goes on forever and ever, and then all of a sudden it's very, very fast paced from that point on.
Well, it does get confusing as well because the whole two-table setup. Like yesterday evening, there was the end of Shaun Murphy's first round match. At the same time, there was a second round match playing, and so in your head you go, "Oh, the first round's over. Oh no, it's not yet." But the second round started, and you kind of lose track of it a bit.
I've never understood why they don't finish off the two first round matches in the afternoon and start the two second round matches in the evening, other than they could have very little play on the afternoon. Like they're guaranteeing 8 frames for the fans, I suppose, is what they're trying to do. They've always tried to have sessions where there's only one match concluding and the other one's just starting. So,
speaking of guaranteed frames, tomorrow, Joe, you're going to watch the Stuart Bingham against Mark Allen match.
Yes. Never have I ever cheered on Stuart Bingham so much for a frame. Although, to be honest, I think out of the two players, I'd rather Stuart Bingham. Obviously, you know, he's a podcast hero, isn't he? I'd rather Stuart Bingham beat Mark Allen. But, I mean, from what I understand, I haven't seen much of the match yet. But he didn't play well yesterday. Did well to come out 5-3, and then has lost 7-1 in that session, and could have lost with a session to spare. But no, got Mark Allen and Stuart Bingham potentially for one frame, or it could be the greatest comeback in Crucible history. Who knows? I mean, Mark Allen's clearly won 7 frames in a row today. So if Stuart Bingham goes out there, wins 7 frames in a row, takes it to 12-11, that would be amazing, but we'll see.
Milkins has already produced an incredible comeback this championship.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that, and it had to be that match, didn't it? I mean, you know, I'm sure we won't talk about it too much, but the match that got delayed, of course.
I think they're lucky. Snooker has, I think it's fair to say, it skews towards a slightly older audience, but if it was a load of, 20-year-olds in the audience, they could have absolutely walloped those protesters.
Well, I mean, what I was disappointed by, that we didn't see Robert Milkins turn his cue round and whack him over the head with the butt of his cue, or the referee's name slips my mind, but maybe she could have got the extended rest out of the table and clobbered him.
So what you're asking for, Joe, is more violence in snooker.
More violence in snooker, yeah. That's for the section of Snooker Extra this week.
We plug that every single episode.
Yeah, I mean, what was ridiculous last night? Speaking of Snooker Extra, I was watching the Shaun Murphy and Jawi, or John Wei, as Dennis calls him, or young Chinese sensation.
Yeah, even when they're about 40, they're still a young Chinese sensation.
Yeah, well, I suppose compared to Dennis they are, but yeah. Anyway, that finished at, I think, about 10 to 11 last night. And then Rishi Prasad was like, oh, yes, and join us for the highlights. Me and Stephen will be back on BBC Two at 11:15. Like, 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? Why didn't they just stay on air and do the highlights from then and finish 20 minutes earlier?
The joy of television, mate. That's what that is. The joy of television.
Bum.
What have your highlights been so far this championship?
Well, I think Judd Trump going out is probably number one. I've got to be honest. I've very much enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good.
But in terms of highlights, I think it's been a very, very uplifting tournament, actually. It's been a very positively played tournament. It's been played in a good spirit. Obviously, we'll talk about Hossein and Ronnie in a bit, but generally it's been played in a very good spirit. And the weather's been really good as well. And I always think the Crucible really shines when you've got that sort of springtime sun. And, the winter garden's looking brilliant and hazel glowing and the John Parrott's teeth sparkling. It's but I just think it's been really nice, actually. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's been a very, very nice start, and I do feel like it's as you say, it's all been played in I don't want to say played in a positive spirit, because that's what Rob Walker says too often. Like, literally, there'll be a 15 frame match and there'll be one bit where someone tells a joke and two players laugh, and then Rob Walker goes, it was played the whole match in a very positive spirit. It's like, no, they were human once, that was it.
I sort of feel sorry for him in a way, but I also find it hilarious that he was stood hoovering the table up like 10 minutes after commentating and then put his suit jacket back on and introduced the players back out. I mean, he started off as an MC. Now he is an MC, a presenter, an interviewer, a reporter,
a cleaner,
and a commentator. And I mean,
is there anything he can't or won't do?
A carpet inspector.
Yeah, he was basically an estate agent around Yan Bintao's house.
Yeah, so I mean, I bet you Bing Tao was sweating a little bit in case he found the briefcases underneath that carpet,
Do you think that's what Rob was looking for?
Maybe that's why he was getting right down. He was listening underneath the carpet.
He actually wants to be like a detective or a secret agent or something. Maybe he's the new Bond.
Oh God. Yes, I mean, I can see it if I squint. Yeah, I mean, how on earth we got onto that? But yeah, it's been played in a good spirit. But speaking of bad spirit, Hossein Vafaei, Ronnie O'Sullivan, obviously massive story this week, Tom. But I mean, Ronnie won't care less. But Hossein just seems to have a real bee in his bonnet about Ronnie O'Sullivan at the moment. And I know Shaun Murphy had a war of words with Ronnie O'Sullivan a few years back. I think it was in one of Ronnie's championship winning seasons, and Ronnie came and beat him with a session to spare. So, I think Shaun Murphy very quickly learned not to do that. But also, with Shaun Murphy and Ronnie, they're kind of in the same class, if you like. Hossein having a go at Ronnie is not really any different to Piers Morgan having a go at Boris Johnson, like as if Boris Johnson is really going to care what Piers Morgan thinks.
Are you trying to say Boris Johnson is the Ronnie O'Sullivan of politics?
I'm not. I'm just trying to think of somewhere where we've had a war of words, some insulting words said. Oh, Harry and Meghan. Okay, Harry and Meghan and Piers Morgan.
Are you trying to say that Meghan is the Ronnie O'Sullivan of politics?
Well, I guess in terms of fame, probably. But
I think of Harry and Meghan as more like the Jack Krasowski and Judd Trump of...
yeah, absolutely. Or the Peter Ebdon. But I mean, Ronnie's not going to care. Is my point. If John Higgins comes out and says that about Ronnie, then maybe it'll get under Ronnie a bit because Ronnie respects John. Stephen Hendry says it. He respects Stephen Hendry. Hossein Vafaei, I mean, what? And then he comes out today in the end, frame 2, gets down, smacks the Reds open, right?
And Ronnie just
clears up
and goes, thank you very much.
Like, what an idiot. And, you're never, ever going to turn a crowd against Ronnie O'Sullivan. You're only going to turn them against yourself. And actually, we can say it all we like about the suspended players, but smacking the Reds open in the second frame of a Crucible match is a form of match fixing in a way. You've just essentially lost that frame.
Ooh.
You have lost that frame deliberately. Just, you had no attempt to win that frame. Unless a red went in, I suppose, but I don't think he was trying to put a red.
No, I mean, do you think there'll be some sort of punishment?
I don't think there will be any punishment for it. But had somebody, right? I mean, he seemed to have looked up at his mate in the crowd or something like that and give him a nod, and had that mate put 10 grand on Hossein to lose frame 2, then I don't know.
Maybe his mate did do that, and this whole emotional...
He's going to get suspended.
This whole emotional storyline is just him building that up to get away with fixing the frame. So now
possibly,
if they go, you fix that frame, he can go, no, I was just really emotional because of this stuff I've said. And you go, no, actually.
Yeah, but I'd be interested to know what our listeners think of that, because I thought it was all a bit pathetic myself.
How do you think they should settle it? Do you think they should have like a celebrity boxing match or something?
I'd love them to, but honestly, I really don't think Ronnie O'Sullivan cares. There's just been a few things with Hossein this week that I've felt, are you trying to put on a show to try and get these fans on your side? But you're never, ever going to get that in a Ronnie O'Sullivan match. You're never going to win the crowd over in that. Not even Jimmy White could do that, really. In my opinion.
Well, he could nowadays because he's old and everyone wants him to do well.
Yeah,
more time.
Against Ronnie, if it was Jimmy versus Ronnie in a world final this year, I still think it would be
18-0, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I mean, I think Ronnie would let him have a couple, but
he'd smash the pack up when he's 15-0 up.
Yeah, or maybe Ronnie would deliberately go 16-0 behind so he could have the greatest Crucible victory ever. He wouldn't go 17 because there might be one flash of Jimmy White brilliance that wins the match. So
imagine how
16.
much though that would break Jimmy's heart. If he's
it might be the end for him, to be honest.
16-0 up and Ronnie comes back and beats him.
I think that might be the end of Jimmy White. I don't think his heart could take it. But
he was never seen again.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about this, Tom. I mean, you're obviously a comedian, and a very good one at that, might I add.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you've seen in the comments, whenever Jimmy White is involved, they're always like, oh, it's that wig. It's that wig holding him down. It's that... What's your opinion on Jimmy White's hair?
I mean, he's had the same hair for the last 40 years. I don't...
Well, I think the point is he was going bald in the mid-90s, and now he's not going bald anymore. So the long-standing theory is that he wears a wig.
I'm quite sure it's a bad hair transplant, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? But
I heard this. I heard that he had some sort of treatment where they like chop the scalp, your bald patch off, and then try and patch over with hair. I heard that's what he did. So he didn't go to the same one as Wayne Rooney, for instance, but
well, he had his much earlier in it.
Or Shane Warne.
It was probably when the technology wasn't as good when he had it done. But
are you saying he was a trailblazer for hair transplants?
Yeah, I think so. He should be the face, the face or the head of hair transplants. It should be Jimmy White.
We're going to see adverts next year, and he'll be going, "Hi, I'm Jimmy White. Get yourself a hair transplant like me." And he'll turn Australian in the process.
He will, yeah. It sounds good to me. I like it, yeah. But, like, I find it funny because you're right about the comments. There's always people going, "Oh, Shaun Murphy would be better if he lost weight," which he now has anyway. He's had a stomach implant or whatever it is, so he has lost a load of weight. But there's always people going, Jimmy would be better if he didn't have that wig, or Shaun Murphy would be better if he lost weight, or Bingham would be better if he didn't have so many tattoos. And you're like, mate, I don't think this is how
Bingham
snooker
would be better
works.
if he was focusing less on hot tubs.
Which is not true. He needs his hot tubs to be successful.
Well, yeah, but what really winds me up more than anything is the whole, he shouldn't be commentating while he's playing. Like, literally nobody said this about Steve Davis and John Parrott while they were still playing.
Mm.
And Ken, nobody says that about Ken. And I'd not heard anybody say anything about Joe Perry until he lost yesterday. And they were like, "Oh, well, it's because he's been commentating." And I'm like, no, he was 7-2 up. 9 times out of 10, he wins that match from there. He played very well. Milkins just had one of those freak sessions where he managed to do the unthinkable. Shaun Murphy came up against C, who was playing out of his skin. And yes, Murphy had a few questionable shots in there. I don't think that's because he was commentating. Mark Allen, for the record, has been commentating in the first round, and he's about to reach the quarterfinal, has a very good chance of winning the whole thing. And you know what? The part of me hopes he does, to shut the people up about you cannot win a tournament if you're commentating on it. What a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish.
This is a new section called Joe's Soapbox, where...
Joe's Rant. Honestly, it boils my blood when I see it on Twitter and somebody says, I wonder if Shaun will reconsider doing his punditry work after he lost 10-9 last night. So you're saying if he didn't do any punditry work, he would have won that match 10-9, or... What are you saying? Are you saying that C just wouldn't have played as well? I don't get it myself. I mean, maybe you'll disagree with me, but...
I do like the implication that people seem to think if they ever don't win, it's because they've commentated. Like, as if tomorrow Dennis Taylor said, "I'm not going to commentate," he would suddenly be in the top 16 because he's stepped out of the commentary box and he gets his snooker powers back, and suddenly him and John, they're going to stop being commentators. They're going to be back at the top of the game. They're beating everyone.
Nobody said it about Stephen Hendry, did they, when he lost to James Gale? They did say, well, it's because of all that commentary work he's been doing. It's just to think people lose matches. There's only one guy that doesn't lose a match in the World Championship. One guy. That's it. The other 147 players or whatever it is that took part in the World Championship lost a match. It really winds me up. Because I feel sorry for Shaun Murphy, because I think he is the one that gets the brunt of that criticism. And he clearly wants to do punditry work and commentary. And whose business is it but his? Mm-hmm. If he wants to do that, I don't believe that Shaun Murphy would have been practicing all day before his match. That's just not sustainable. You don't practice for 12 hours the day before you're due to go on. He probably did 3-4 hours practice in between the sessions that he was commentating on. The commentating was his break, and he loves snooker. He's said openly, if I'm not commentating on it or playing in it, I will be watching it in the hotel. So he might as well sit next to John Virgo and commentate on it in a nice tight room,
Hope everyone check your blood pressure after that image of John Virgo and Shaun Murphy in a tight room.
Yeah, the tight, dark room.
I mean, I will say as well, for Shaun's credit, is that he's good at it. He's good at presenting stuff. He's good at commentary. He's good at punditry. It's not like, someone like, I've heard Peter Ebdon do some stuff, and I'm not a massive fan, to be honest, of his punditry. I think also
he was okay, but not great. But,
whereas I think Shaun does bring a bit of personality to it in a way.
Well, Shaun is a character. He is of that ilk of the 80s. He gives the old nod to the crowd when he gets a century, and when he comes into the arena, and you can see him like talking to the crowd at minus 30 decibels. So, but yeah. But and I mean, the waistcoat he was wearing yesterday, it was very low cut, as if it was like a 1980s style waistcoat. So,
what a horrible image to put into people's head there.
I mean, I could almost see his belly button. It was...
Right, get him in the commentary box. Get him in the commentary box. We've seen too much.
But yeah, I just don't understand it myself, because if I was playing at the World Championship and BBC came to me and said, "Look, Joe, we want you to be on our punditry team," I would absolutely do it.
Bum.
Joe, you're going to the Ronnie O'Sullivan shop tomorrow, right?
Yes, Tom, I am, and
are you excited for it?
I am excited for it, actually, because there is a meet and greet with the one and only podcast legend, Stuart Bingham.
Yay! Bingham!
So, I mean, I'm going to watch him get beat in the morning, and then watch Jack Lazowski and Anthony McGill for a bit, and then, for the entirety of the session, and then hope that I haven't missed Stuart Ballrun Bingham at the Ronnie O'Sullivan shop.
Oh, I hope you don't. I hope you give him a big cuddle to cheer him up.
Yeah, I might inquire about one of his hot tubs. Go, Stuart. Gives one of your tubs. Yeah. Would you? I could say, would you be interested in coming on our podcast?
Yeah. See how quickly he says no.
So he'll go, "Sorry, what's the podcast called?" And go, "Snooky Loopy," and he'll go, "Oh, the one that talks about my hot tubs."
We knew you listened, Stuart. We knew you listened.
Yeah. So, that'll be good. I mean,
have you ever met a snooker player? Because obviously you've had a lot of interactions with them on Facebook over the years. We've talked about this in the past.
Well, I've stalked a lot of them on Facebook over the years. I'm not sure I've ever interacted with one other than Mark Williams. That one interaction with Mark Williams where he tagged himself in one of my photos. That's such a Mark Williams thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have I ever met a snooker player? I mean, other than being in the same room as David Lilly, I suppose, a couple of times.
Well, and you played Elliot Slessor.
Played Elliot Slessor.
Before he was a pro, of course.
Yeah, before he was a pro. But no, I don't think I've ever met an actual snooker player,
I'm so glad that Bingham's going to be your first.
I mean, it's hilarious, isn't it, really? I mean, I'm just glad it's not Trump. Imagine if they say, "Sorry, Stuart's pulled out because he's about to get beat," but we're delighted to have Judd.
Judd's in Ibiza already. He's long gone from Sheffield.
Yeah.
What are you going to say to Bingham when you meet him?
Well played. Yeah, brilliant match this morning. Congratulations on being in the quarterfinal, because I'm going to have watched him win,
mate, 9
consecutive frames.
If he does that, you will be his lucky charm.
Right, okay, I'm going to say it now, If Stuart Bingham wins the match tomorrow, I will try and get a clip of him for our next podcast, like a video with him.
I have never been so excited for a session of snooker. I'm going to be at home going, Allen, "Come on, Stuart!"
Knocks in a long red, 147, that's it.
Well, of course, this episode will probably be released on the day you're there. So if people want to either watch live or watch back the session and play a game of Where's Joe, Joe will be in the audience. So if you find him,
yes, I'll be wearing my glasses though, so you'll probably not you'll not recognise me necessarily. But I'll be in the 4th row in the centre of the Crucible. So,
are you going to be just wearing your glasses, no clothes?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, am I going to be wearing my Just Stop Oil t-shirt? But I thought I would leave that at home.
I don't
I'm not
think
sure
you'll be
they
let
let
in,
me
mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I might get a shirt printed with a Bingham's hot tubs on there. Yeah, I mean,
If we ever make any podcast merch, mate.
I would just love. I would love Dennis to put the camera on and be like, "Oh, there's a super fan of Stuart. I'm not sure what the hot tubs are about, but or perhaps we'll have to ask Stuart." One of his super fans.
And Stuart loses in the first frame, and he's really upset afterwards. And Rob Walker still goes, "Stuart, what's all this about hot tubs?" And he just goes, "No idea what you're on about, Rob. What are you talking about? I've just lost. Why are you mentioning hot tubs to me?" Like,
how to make Stuart Bingham cry. But yes, if he wins 9 consecutive frames, wins the match 13-12, I will try and get just a little 10-second clip of him saying, "I'm Stu Bingham, welcome to the Snooker Loopy podcast," or something like that.
I'll be honest, mate. I think if he does win 13-12, I don't think he's going to turn up for the meet and greet. I think he's just going to go get absolutely hammered celebrating.
Well, he might well do that first and then come to the meet and greet. That might be an interesting meet and greet.
He turns up for the meet and greet just looking like Mark Williams with a towel around him.
Oh God, yeah, he's come out of the Bingham hot tub. Yeah.
Who's ready to meet Bingham? Everyone's like, "Oh my God."
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying all of this, and they might genuinely sell one of Bingham's hot tubs in the Ronnie O'Sullivan shop. You know, that might be the weirdest bit of merch that I buy for the podcast.
Well, yeah, because you're going to be our little roving reporter. You're going to find the weirdest bit of merch, aren't you?
I am. I'm gonna go to the WST merchandise stall, see if World Snooker Championship 2011 is still there. I'm gonna see how much it's being, sold for. And I'm also going to try and see if there's any Michaela Tab merchandise. And also, although it might be Tatiana Wollaston now, who knows?
I mean, there is some weird snooker merch. We've not even talked about that on Cue the Laughter, but some of the snooker merchandise is flipping weird, isn't it? Like, who goes to the World Championship and goes, "Yeah, I want a mug that's got the referee's name on it"?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm going to try and buy the weirdest bit of merchandise that I can from the WST official store and then the Ronnie O'Sullivan shop as well. So that's going to be exciting.
Will you get Bingham to sign it?
Oh, well, hopefully. I mean, I know tonight, as we're recording this, John Virgo's there, and if you spend more than £20 in the shop, you get a free John Virgo signed cue ball.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
mate, they're worth more than 20 quid on eBay straight away. Like, I've seen them on there, and they're worth about 30 quid. Like,
I know. I that's what I said to Rachel. I said, what would be more cool than a John Virgo cue ball? Like, what the hell?
Just "Where's the cue ball going" written on it. That'd be beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe you can write the lyrics to the song "Where's the cue ball going" on the cue ball.
But I'm presuming you've never.
Where's the pink going?
I'm presuming you've never been to a snooker match before.
Where's the pink going? No, sorry, Tom.
It's fine. I've come to accept that random John Virgo interruptions are part and parcel of this podcast, to be honest. I imagine it's the first time you're going to a snooker match where you know it could be as short as one frame.
Yes. I think I've been guaranteed 9 frames both times I've been to watch snooker before.
It must be quite annoying, I imagine.
It was quite annoying because it was 5-3. It was 3-0 to Mark Allen yesterday. I thought, oh, here we go. But he got back to 5-3. And I was at work today, look at my phone, and it's bloody 9-3 Mark Allen. And I'm thinking, what on earth? I was pretty annoyed, to be honest. And then Mark Allen was in with a chance of making it 13-3. And I've never cheered so much when he went into the Reds and stuck on one. And then Bingham cleared up with a century, to be fair. So, Yeah, I mean, it is annoying because, as we've discussed, it's not cheap to go to the Crucible, but it is what it is. We'll still get to see a good amount of snooker because, Anthony McGill and Jack are just starting their match, so that will at least be 8 frames unless Jack pulls out on medical grounds or something. Who knows? But
I guess that's a positive of the 2-table setup. You've got a backup kind of table.
Yeah, but it would have been quite flat had Bingham lost. Today. I mean, we were saying it'll be great just to experience Bingham and Allen come into the arena, and maybe Bingham could win 2 or 3 frames, and that would be awesome. If we got to see that and just cheer him on a little bit, and yeah.
Bum.
Shall we cue the music, Joe?
Yes, let's do that.
So, last episode for Cue the Music, the section where we talk about a piece of music that's either linked to the snooker world or about snooker, or has some association, like it's sung by a player or something like that. And last episode we talked about Snooker Loopy, and I briefly mentioned that at the same time that Snooker Loopy was released, there was a rival campaign by another group of players who were kind of annoyed at not being part of the whole Matchroom Mob group, and so they released a rival single to try and get in the charts. And Joe, are you aware of this track?
You know what? I'm not. I vaguely remember it being a thing, but I don't think I've ever heard it. So I will be very excited to hear what's going to be in there.
To basically tell people what it is, they were a group called 4 Away. It was a cover of a song called The Wanderer, and the group was made up of Tony Knowles, Alex Higgins, Kirk Stevens, and Jimmy White. Kind of like, I don't know, were they like the bad boys of the snooker scene at the time?
The Judd Trump, Jack Klosowski, Peter Ebdon, and Hossein Vafaei.
What a super group for our times that would be. But it says in the YouTube description, Snooker promised its own version of Blur versus Oasis during the 1986 World Championship. I mean, that is describing the Matchroom Mob as presumably Oasis or Blur or whichever one is very weird.
Yeah.
But Howard Kruger's Framework stable launched their very own version of The Wanderer in opposition to the Matchroom Mob's Snooker Loopy. In the end, it turned out to be a one-horse race as Barry Hearn's boys reached number 6, while The Wanderer completely failed to chart, which is why people might not have heard this one. A fun venture nonetheless, even though Knowlesley looks distinctly uncomfortable in this footage.
Okay, let's go for it.
Well, I'm the type of guy who likes to roam around. I'm never in one place. I go from town to town. And when they ask me, I like to play the best.
I set up all the goals and I'll take on all the rest.
'Cause I'm the wanderer. Yeah, I'm the wanderer. I move around. There's Jimmy on my left and Tony on my right.
I'm snooping on the green and I'm tucked up on the white.
Well, when I see the others going for the game, I kiss them and I pop them and I always win the frame. 'Cause I'm the wanderer. Yeah, I'm the wanderer. I move around.
We don't profess to be singers, but equally, I mean, The Wanderer is a song that everybody knows, and we've changed the words slightly to suit our own purposes, and go out and buy it.
Oh dear. Do you not think it's quite weird though, because all of these players were extremely popular in the snooker world,
Yeah.
yet the Matchroom Mob just really dominated?
Well, if not, I probably would need to read some sort of Barry Hearn biography to work out why they weren't in the Matchroom Mob, but were they seen as too risky or too dangerous, or...
Probably.
I don't know whether I'm just buying into the whole Alex Higgins...
I don't know why Tony Knowles isn't particularly. Do you know what I mean? He's not exactly got the reputation of White and Higgins.
Well, you say that, Joe, but this YouTube clip, it says... It says that Tony Knowles was fondly remembered as snooker's very own Casanova.
Well...
and it says, if you have any Knowlesy footage or memorabilia to trade, or even if you just like to Even if you just like to share your own TK memories, then please get in touch.
To trade? Why would you want to trade?
So this video has been uploaded by some sort of Tony Knowles superfan.
Gareth, if you're watching, we don't have any Tony Knowles merchandise, but if you do, we'd certainly like to have it.
Wait, what's going on? I'm going to send you a link, Joe. So I'll send you this link, Joe. This is a link to the artwork for the single.
Oh, wow. Is this on Discogs?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Firstly, there's only 3 of them.
Yes. So they didn't like Kirk Stevens, apparently.
Secondly, I think we've got our podcast artwork sorted. They're at the beach for some reason. Why are they at the beach?
Well, yeah. I mean, they must have been down in Southend or something.
It is classic people's dads trying to be rock and roll in that picture, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Even though they probably weren't even that old back then, but they just look like they were. Look at Jimmy's hair there.
Well, that certainly wasn't a wig, was it?
Discogs also lets me know there was a B-side called Leaving by the Back Door.
Oh.
Which I can't find anywhere. So if anyone's got that, maybe the Tony Knowles superfans out there, if you've got Leaving by the Back Door, please do let us know.
I mean, interestingly, on the YouTube description again, it does say Tony Knowles, Alex Higgins, Kirk Stevens, Jimmy White, leads with Tony Knowles, so...
Oh, he's the lead singer on that recording, clearly. But yeah, let's take it back to the song quickly, Joe. What did you think of that cover of... It's kind of a cover. They do even say in the music video, we're not really singers. And they do say...
Well, they're not.
And they do say, well, we sort of did our own song, added a few words to make it a bit relevant. But it's not massively snooker themed, is it?
Not really. It's comfortably worse than Stephen Hendry's Masked Singer escapades, in my opinion. To be honest with you, out of everybody, Alex Higgins actually had the best voice, weirdly.
He did go on to release his own song, which we'll cover in the future, and he did. I mean, Jimmy White also did feature on the Romford Rap eventually, but I don't think I want a Jimmy White album based on this.
Yes. Yeah, because he just sings how he speaks, so it's a bit strange. For me, it's a 2.5 out of 10.
Oh, our lowest score so far. Wow. I mean, I can't give it that much higher. I think just because they're called 4 Away, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. 4 Away.
Foul, 4 Away.
That is their score, 4 Away. I've given you a 4.
Well, what we need to do, Tom, is get the ref from World Championship 2004 and also Snooker Nation Championship and get him to say that. Foul, 4 Away.
If you find him at the Ronnie O'Sullivan shop, please do. To finish on 4 Away, I can see why it didn't chart, to be honest. I like the fact it exists. It's good fun that it exists, and they tried.
But it was just petty, wasn't it? And when anything is born out of pettiness, it doesn't work, usually. So
yeah, and I do feel like the Matchroom Mobs one was probably higher budget. It actually had professional musicians involved, whereas this one feels like they went, quick, we've got 2 weeks, get into the studio, record something, and this is what this is what they gave us.
With whatever money they had left, because they were very well known for blowing a lot of their money. So
I don't think they made a profit on this, let's say that. Just really quickly, I think we should read a few comments that were left on the YouTube video for The Wanderer. Someone saying Alex ain't a bad Skinner. I'll say that again.
Probably isn't a bad Skinner, to be honest.
But it says Alex ain't a bad singer, to be fair. Someone else saying, ridiculous that this never made it to number 1.
I say let's change that.
You will not have the approval of Peter Sharkey, who comments, while these 4 were doing this bollocks and winning out, Steve Davis was winning everything.
I think I've seen him on my Snooker 19 videos, actually.
Well, there's a wonderful reply to Peter Sharkey where someone goes, I think you'll find Steve Davis had just recorded Snooker Loopy with Chaz and Dave, mate. So there we go.
Oh, so there you go. There's a war of words.
Yeah.
You thought Hossein and Ronnie was heated.
I set up all the rules and I'll take on all the rest.
Well, shall we cue the laughter?
We shall cue the laughter, and this has once again been found by the trusty Tom Mayhew eBay search tactics,
Yes.
which always leads me to bizarre things. And I've got a few links of something here, Joe, and I'll pop these over to you. Then we can chat about them. It's not something that I currently own. I say currently as if I'm going to buy it. I wasn't planning on buying it, but we know how badly this can go.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A John Virgo waistcoat size large snooker black ball collection by Piscada.
Well, these are the Black Ball collection, and it's actually licensed John Virgo waistcoats.
I mean, what? I mean, one of them sold out on Etsy, so, you know. So luckily we can't buy that one, but...
So, Joe, would you ever buy a John Virgo waistcoat? That's the question.
You know what, Tom? This is actually the least tempting thing I think I've ever seen related to snooker.
But it's John Virgo. You love John Virgo.
I do love John Virgo.
You can dress up like John Virgo.
Yeah.
If me and you, Joe, have a snooker fancy dress party, this would be perfect for you.
Perhaps if we go around the clubs doing exhibitions, maybe we could.
I'll get some of Dennis's glasses, and you get a JV waistcoat.
Deal. Or how about I wear the DT glasses and you wear the John Virgo waistcoat?
Oh no, I wasn't hoping you were going to say that.
And also you could go and you could go and wear one for one of your gigs as a forfeit.
I just think I'd get booed off for no reason. They would just go, "What on earth are you wearing?" I don't want to watch this.
John Virgo. You just say this is inspired by my hero, John Virgo.
Yeah, but I would panic. I'd take the waistcoat off. I'd be trying to show them the label, going, "Look, it's John Virgo," and they go, "Boo! Get off!"
We prefer Dennis. We watch Eurosport.
We bought the Wanderer. We prefer alternative snooker players.
We prefer Dave Hendon. Because Dave Hendon probably has come to watch one of your gigs just to analyse a snooker podcaster in their real life job.
I would not be surprised at all, to be honest. But yeah, this waistcoat, if we're saying where's the waistcoat going? In the bin. In the bin, I think.
Nowhere fast, I think, is what I would say.
There's Jimmy on my left and Tony on my right.
I'm snookered on the green and I'm tucked up on the white.
Well, I think this episode we've probably had the worst cue to music song and the worst cue to laughter items.
Well, yes, so we'll have to make it up with our incredible first round predictions. Round one, predictions. We both predicted Ronnie O'Sullivan, didn't we?
Yep.
I think you went for Ding. I went for Hossein.
Did.
So
I made a mistake going for Ding. He lost.
Yeah. I went for Ricky Walden. And I persuaded you to go for him, didn't I?
You cost me that point, Joe.
Yeah. And then we both went Williams, McGill, Lazowski, I think, didn't we? Yeah. I went Milkins.
I went Milkins as well.
Yeah. Murphy, I assume we both went for.
Yeah, we both got that wrong.
I went Mark Allen. You
I
will have
went
went
Mark
Stuart Bingham, surely.
Of course I went Stuart Bingham.
I went Dave Gilbert. I'm ashamed of myself.
Don't tell Bingham tomorrow.
I then went Ali Carter and Wu
I went
Yeezer.
Carter. I went Neil Robertson.
Yeah.
Because I am not a silly Billy, Joe.
And then I went Kyron, John, Gary, Mark. I think you went Slesser, didn't you?
I had Kyron, David Grace, Elliot Slesser, and Mark Selvey. I mean, David Grace was a bad choice, but Slesser almost brought it back, to be fair.
He did,
I think he did a good job.
It was a dreadful match, though, that one, really. But one of those things. I mean, I got 11 there, so... You
got 11. I got... What did I get? I got 10. Not far off. Not off.
Not bad. So, yeah, my accumulator was not... Didn't come through, I'm afraid.
Or shall we just do who we've predicted for round 2, then?
Yes. So, I've went Ronnie O'Sullivan.
I've went Ronnie as well. And obviously, if you don't know how this prediction thing works, you do all the predictions at the start of the championship. So there will be some players here that I've predicted that obviously have already gone out and that Joe's predicted that have gone out. That's just the way this website works. But yes, I've done Ronnie O'Sullivan to get through round 2. And then I've done Mark Williams.
Me too. Yeah.
Then the match that you'll be seeing, I've gone for Jack Lisowski.
Yes. Jack Lisowski for me.
My first one is definitely wrong because I've put Shaun Murphy.
Yeah, me too.
Then I've got Mark Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Another mistake, I've got Ali Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got him as well?
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got Kyrian Wilson and Mark Selby.
I cannot believe we have predicted exactly the same round
Really?
2 winners. Yes, yeah. So that's going to be really boring next week when we say, our round 2 predictions. Yeah, we had exactly the same. Well, I guess from this point, it kind of doesn't matter. Who did you predict to win in the quarterfinals?
Mark Williams, and you would have gone Ronnie.
I went Ronnie, yeah.
Shaun Murphy, so I'm not getting anything there.
Yeah.
Did you go for him as well?
Yeah.
Stop commentating, Sean. We need these points.
And then I went Ali Carter.
I went Mark Allen.
Okay.
So, that's close.
I mean, you know, I'm already out of that one, and then Kyron to beat Mark Selby.
I put Selby in there.
You know what? I think you may well. Mark Williams might let you down, but other than that, oh no, because you got Shaun Murphy wrong, haven't you? So
yeah.
And then I've got Ronnie and Kyron in the final. So
well, my final, I put Mark Williams against Mark Allen.
Oh, the battle of the marks. I mean, there'll be 3 marks in the semi-final with yours.
Has that ever happened before? I mean, thank God there's so much diversity in the game.
Last year we had the 3 of the class of 92 in there.
Yeah.
Now we've got 3 marks, you know. Yeah. How dare Mark Joyce not get there? Or Mark King. Maybe it would have been his, yeah, who knows.
Yeah. Literally, when they're doing the name on the trophy, they can just put Mark on already.
Yeah.
They've already got the first name on there. Like,
yeah. That's a good point, actually. Has there ever been a final with 2 players having the same name?
We're going to have to go to Wikipedia and have a look.
I mean, it will have happened in other tournaments, surely, but I mean, we didn't have ever Steve and Steven, but apparently Steve is just Steve. Apparently, his mum sent his birth certificate into a snooker scene one year to show that it.
Why would you do that?
It was just Steve Davis, not Stephen Davis, because somebody was saying they want to see an exhibition match between Stephen Davis and Steve Hendry.
Right, looking quickly through the World Championships, we did have Joe Davis against Fred Davis. Obviously, they were related and they had the same surname. In terms of first name, though, I mean, Rex Williams, you're not going to get a second Rex, are you?
No.
Oh, losing finalist in 1965 was Fred Van Rensburg. And the next year, the losing finalist was Fred Davis. So that's 2 Freds in a row.
Okay.
And then 1968, John Pullman won. The year after, John Spencer. Perry Mans. Imagine having 2 Perrys.
Well, Perry Mann versus Joe Perry.
Clash of the Titans. I don't think there's ever been a Mark against a Mark. There's a Mark against Matthew Stevens,
Or
Mark
John
Williams.
against a John. Yes.
Yeah, there's been no... At the moment, I've not seen any.
Ronnie versus Ronnie.
No, I don't think it's ever happened, Joe. This could
Wow.
be history in the making.
History. Peter versus Peter, you know. I mean, he often did play himself when he was out there, but...
I mean, I always find it absolutely mad, like, how many World Championships were won by either someone called Mark, or someone with the surname Davis, or someone with the surname Higgins.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, I couldn't understand that John Higgins wasn't related to Alex Higgins. I was just like, how has that happened? That's mad. Like,
you were devastated when you found out Mark Davis wasn't related to Steve.
I've got the dynasty. It lives on. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a weird one, isn't it? That, because of the spelling of Davis as well.
Hmm.
That's amazing, really. And we could also have a Wilson quarterfinal, couldn't we? That is a possibility. We'll see.
We don't profess to be singers, but equally, go out and buy it.
It's been a pleasure to podcast with you again, Tom, and I'm sure I'll have lots of stories from the Crucible to share.
I'm going to be looking out for you on the telly, mate. Are you going to do a funny wave when the camera's
I'm
on?
not, but unfortunately, Tom.
But yeah, we're going to all be trying to spot you tomorrow, Joe.
Well, I look forward to it.
And you're going to return with stories and hopefully
a hot tub. Who knows? But no, I'll go and say hello to Hazel tomorrow. I'll go, good evening, Hazel.
Please do. She'll just go, why are you saying it like that? I'm very confused.
Good evening, Hazel.
I like it if her going, hello, Dennis, and looking up and going, oh, you're not Dennis.
That's what you think, Hazel. Some other good news. The Tour Championship is coming to Manchester, so I'll be able to attend the Tour Championship next year.
I might try and come.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know how much tickets are. I might try and pop to Manchester and watch it with you.
Yeah. You can do a gig at... you've done gigs in Manchester before, haven't you? So,
yeah, the Frog and Bucket in Manchester. The Comedy Store in Manchester.
Streets in Manchester.
Yep.
Primark in Manchester.
They asked me to leave very quickly. I kept saying to them, do you have a John Virgo waistcoat?
But no, it should be good. I mean, anything's got to be better than the first few rounds in Hull, where it was Snooker 19-esque.
And there goes all our listeners in Hull. I mean, to be fair, there probably weren't that many of them, because I don't know if you went to watch the matches in Hull.
No, they only like the seniors snooker, so...
Rightly so.
Yes, they'd rather watch Rodney Goggins and and Darren Morgan.
I can't believe Rodney Goggins is a real name. I know it is, but it sounds like a children's character or something.
I mean, that should be our cue, the laughter, shouldn't it? Rodney.
What, the career of Rodney Goggins?
Yeah, Rodney Goggins.
Oh, that's one more thing, Joe. Just before we go, I was looking on Wikipedia, and I don't think this is his real nickname, but someone put Matthew Selt's nickname as Ready Selted.
Ready Selted. Oh, that's a cracker. I wonder what Goggins' nickname is. He doesn't have one, unfortunately. That's a shame.
Feel free to add one, mate.
Edits. Right. Oh, how can I do this? Come on. Nickname equals, right. Nickname equals the Dublin sausage, or I mean he's from Wexford, so it's got to be the Wexfordshire sausage, the Wexfordshire. There we go. Right, publish changes. Right, Tommy, here you go. There you go.
Hold on, I'm just going to look at Rodney Goggins, see if I can see his nickname. The Wexfordshire sausage! I really hope he's got like an email alert for his own Wikipedia page. So he just types in his email and goes, well, that's not my nickname. Why am I called the Wexfordshire sausage?
I think we've got to keep an eye on how long that stays there.
Make sure you get a screenshot of that. I'll get a screenshot of Matthew Selt and Stephen Hallworth.
Yes.
And we'll keep an eye on how long they... Yeah, he's still called Ready Selted. That makes me very...
I mean, we'll have to try and get Stephen Hallworth on the podcast and ask him if that is actually his nickname.
I mean, it might be. This might be Matthew Selt's nickname. I don't remember if they introduced him as it.
Ready. It's ready, Salted. Matthew Selt. Oh, God. Now Tom's going to introduce me as Ready Salted next week. Or the Wexfordshire sausage. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Beautiful.
Right.
Well, that's a great way of ending the podcast, I think.
Yes,
so thank you,
absolutely.
everyone, for listening. Hope you
Yes.
enjoy the next few days of the championship before we're back.
Absolutely.
Hopefully those nicknames will still be on Wikipedia by the time we return.
I hope they are.
And we'll catch you very soon. Thanks for listening. Please do like, share, comment, all that stuff, and we'll see you very soon.